Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen. In mid-2018, Mattel shifted the production of many of their Disney Cars diecasts from China to Thailand. Not only did the country of manufacture change, so did the cars themselves. They now had glossier paint. Unfortunately, that came with blurrier decals. Some even had different facial expressions, among other tweaks in the details. Now, when they released a new character, it didn't matter that much, but whenever they released a character dating back to the early days, all the way up to, mid-2018, there was a comparison to be made, and oftentimes it was highly controversial as people argued China versus Thailand, which is better for varying reasons. Sometimes the blurry decals outweighed the pros of having a nice, new, fresh facial expression. And so today, everyone, we are venturing down the rabbit hole of comparing all Piston Cup racers from the first Cars movie, their original Chinese counterparts, but not just any Chinese counterparts, not even the ones you can find in stores. All the Chinese Piston Cup racers you're looking at right now came directly from the Motor Speedway of the South set that was limited to 1,000 pieces to Redline Club members back in 2008. Only the best for you guys, comparing all those to the Thailand counterparts that started releasing in late 2018 and just concluded recently with the release of Eugene Carbureski in 2025 Singles Case X. Now, a couple disclaimers, two of them. First off, Dale Earnhardt Jr. and Mac iCar. We all know, unrealistic. Mac iCar, Motor Speedway of the South, was his only release from China. Mattel did not do anything like that for Cars 3, let alone from Thailand in the present era. So we don't have one of him to compare to. Dale Earnhardt Jr. is a little trickier with the copyright. We'll see if they ever do him again. And then I'll remake this whole video for you guys. Second disclaimer, Mattel recently moved production of some of their cars back to China. However, the style in which they are producing and manufacturing them is the same as when they have been in Thailand. So when, for example, we get another leakless, a Claude Scruggs, from China in 2026 or 2027, it will look pretty much the exact same as the 2025 Thailand version. So the comparison we're doing today is what really matters. Let's not waste any more time, shall we? That leaves 34 unique racers, 68 in total. Everyone's in numerical order because we're organized like that, and that means we're going to start here with Rusty Cornfuel number 4. Now guys, I have already reviewed every single one of these cars on my channel in either their own review or sometimes a 2-pack or even 12 Days of Christmas, in which I reviewed a couple of them at once. So if you want to see these more in depth, their packagings and whatnot, you could check out those videos. This will be an overview highlighting the main differences, right? So first off, we're starting with kind of a banger because Rusty Cornfuel happens to be one of the most different Piston Cup Racer Thailand variants, and not a lot of people talk about it. But right off the bat, you could see the expression's a little bit different. They don't paint his teeth white, which is a common theme we'll notice as we go through a lot of these racers. There's really no rhyme or reason to it, but when it happens, it usually is on this model. The Nitroate model is how we refer to it as, because Nitroate was the first back in 2006. However, Nitroate from Thailand actually got his teeth painted white. Favoritism? Probably. Okay, expression in the eyes, slightly tweaked. Coloring, darker purple, which is more accurate to the movie, I would contend. Decal on the hood, not too shabby. I mean, again, grainier, blurrier, but that's because the style in which they're producing these is an inkjet method, and that is what they're carrying on over back into China now, and that is why what I said earlier in the video holds true. Now on the roof here, you can see that they enlarged the 4. Don't know why, it's kind of obnoxious. I think that's a little bit of a downgrade, but I'm not too upset about it. Another issue with Thailand that we all probably know if you watch my videos when it comes to racers, Piston Cup, next gen, and stock cars, that the wheels get a little grain action sandpaper vibe. On these black ones, it's not as noticeable, but when we get to colored ones, you will see the difference broad and bright as day. Now, Rusty Cornfuel, I believe last was released in 2023. Correct me if I'm wrong. Maybe it was 2020. No, I think it was 2023. No, yeah, it was 2023. Pretty sure he was one of the first, like he was case B of 2023 with like Rodette marker. That was the year they canceled case A. My memory is working on absolute overtime right now. But there you go. That is Rusty Cornfuel. And I think a lot of people kind of underrate him because of reasons. Sponsor related. Also just not the most attractive paint job. Here we have Aiken Axler, one of the first ones that they did do from Thailand back in 2019. And have since released them a couple times. But yeah, again, you could tell the expression's a little different. The eyes are spread out. I think usually when Thailand does a different expression, it's better. Like most of the time, I like it better. Like with Rusty there, I did like it better. The teeth not being painted is a problem though. Here, I think the expression's worse. They painted the teeth, but making the eyes further apart, I'm not a big fan of that. Makes them just look a little spacey. But you could tell that is an eye plate, just like on Rusty Cornfuel and just like on everybody else. For the most part, we're going to see, except for an exception we'll talk about. And that makes it, yeah, a plastic piece, whereas before it was a part of the main metal body. It's crazy that we go from number 4 to 28. There are some big gaps in the numbers I've realized with Piston Cup racers. By the way, you could tell that the Thailand version's wing or spoiler here is like red. It's complete, like weird off color. It's not supposed to be red. It's supposed to match everything else in orange. So not really sure how they botched that, but that is a difference worth noting. Chuck Armstrong, again, another, actually that's only a gap of 5. We get to a point where it's like almost every other number on average, like in the 70s and 80s. We'll get to that. Chuck Armstrong, one of the more popular racers because of race damage mood springs. He was just released this year. I'm pretty sure that was like his third time from Thailand, second or third. So yeah, he's peg warming a little bit right now. You could probably go to a lot of stores, Target and Walmart in the US, and have a pretty good shot of finding him. We're going to notice some weird things today, guys. Like the first 3 Piston Cup racers sequentially, numerically, all have black wheels. Although toe cap, Rusty Cornfuels are inaccurate. They are supposed to be a dark purple. Now, I'd say with Chuck here, again, unpainted teeth. The expression's pretty much the same. This one did not change much at all. So he really has some of the least differences that we'll notice as we go through all of these here today. One of my favorites here because of the expression change is Dirkson D'Agostino for Trunk Fresh. This guy first came out in 2020, summer of 2020, I think maybe case G, H, somewhere around there. And yeah, I am a big fan. I'm surprised they haven't re-released him along with Slider Petrowski. A couple of those 2021s have not come back. It is a little surprising because they do like to release a lot of these Piston Cup racers on like a 3-year schedule. But yeah, you could tell that the expression's a little bit more passive now. He's not as looking. It's a little more relaxed. The eyes are closer together. They're lower. I think just making them closer together really is all the difference here. You could tell that he's a little yellower. It's not as much of a lime green, especially when you look at the wheels there. It's a little bit more on the yellow side of the spectrum. But I think this is one of their better attempts at a Thailand release. And there are 2 amazing things about this model in particular when it comes to Thailand Piston Cup racers. The eyes are not a plate. It's part of the main metal body. Only on this model, and only on this model, you actually get axles that are pretty much the proper length where the wheels fit nicely under the chassis, the body there. Whereas with the prior model we looked at, they're usually a little too long, so the wheels actually protrude. As you can see right there, it's protruding an unacceptable amount in my opinion. We're going to get to another model where it's the complete opposite of that. But there you go. That's Dirkson D'Agostino, one of my favorites. Here's one of my least favorites because the expression's not great. It's like misaligned. Maybe it's just mine, but it feels like the eye plate's kind of like in there janky. I don't know why it just looks slanted. Not a big fan. Didn't paint the teeth because I guess just none of these Piston Cup racers have teeth. We're just going to have to canonize that. All these Piston Cup racers just lost all their teeth in that crash that Chick Hicks caused back in the first Cars movie. And that's, Thailand, when they made these, it's after the movie or after the race. And so, sequentially, like in the timeline, they had no teeth anymore. Okay, anyways. When they first released Shifty Drug back in the day, first few releases, rubber tires, launcher, blah, 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 blah. He was red. Not accurate. He's actually pink. Thailand did correct that, or kept that correction that Mattel applied to the 2015 release of Kevin Racingtire Shifty Drug. That was the first case of 2015, guys. My memory is insane. I think that case also had cars like Chauncey Fares, maybe a Corey Turbowitz. I think like Shigeko was floating around there too. Maybe even a Ponchy Wipeout. Did I just name the highlights from 2015 Singles Case A? Call me on that, guys. Call me on that. But yeah, kind of a forgettable one, but another early 2023 release. That was not his first time, though. He had originally came out in 2019, unless I am mistaken. Here we have our most recent installment in the Thailand-China Piston Cup Racer saga. I just found one at Meyer recently, but that has been the only version of him I've seen. That is the only exposure to Case X I have had. I have been doing great finding cars recently, guys. Until recently, when all my stores, Target and Walmart, are just set. They are just, I like Case W. That's all I want in my life. That is what they're saying to me. That is what they say, and they just keep giving me Case W. Will not get past that. Anyways, here's Eugene Carbureski. Maybe they painted his teeth, maybe not. They got lucky because he's white in the front anyways. And so we can't give them credit. We don't know if they actually would have painted it if Eugene didn't have white paint in the front. Anyways, guys, here is what I was talking about. This is our first look at this model of Piston Cup Racer where the axles are too short and you can see they're hiding under the body there. It's really bad, guys. It's on both sides. It's just too narrow, too tight. I don't know how they botched these axles so badly, but I like Eugene. I like the expression here, kind of centered the eyes, moved them closer together, slightly smaller, a little eyeliner there. It's a more pure shade of pink, more saturated. This is a little bit of a softer shade on the original Chinese version here. That being said, the wheels are kind of the opposite. I don't want to do that. Nope. I just want them to rest on top of Thailand Eugene. Guess we're going to have to hold them. You can see with the wheels, they're a hot pink on the Chinese version. That kind of matched the spoiler. And now with the Thailand version, they are a little bit more of that softer shade of pink. And that is not helped by the sandpaper inkjet paint that is not capable of spraying every little nook and cranny. And, it's not even the cranny. It's just more of the side of the wheel that just can't get painted. You could see here that they standardize the shade of pink on the spoiler so that it is not as wildly different from the rest of him as it once was from China. So those are the biggest differences you'll see on Eugene Carbureski. You have thinner window bars on this model here as well. I think overall this is a nice one. It's going to be popular. It's probably going to be rare. So if you find them and you have any inclination that you think you want him, you should buy him. Ryan Shields, on the other hand, has been not as popular, even though he's in the exact same boat as Eugene Carbureski. Just came out in the Case W. Speak of the devil, his first time from Thailand, but he had previously been released from Thailand, but with metallic paint in the Scavenger Hunt line in late 2019. So I don't know why we had to wait so long to get his regular version, but they finally decided to pump him out for us here. And you can tell, like I said, this is the better model. So the eye plate's metal. The wheels are perfect. The tires, all that. Axle is good. But they decided to really change up his paint scheme here. You can see that the hood decal is completely different. It's a lighter shade of blue for the font of Eugene. The corrective windshield text is all just like that bolder white, whereas this is just like thin, then like kind of bold. You got this like little blue hockey stick. Very strange. I mean, I don't know. I think the Thailand version's a little bit more accurate, though it's still not perfectly accurate. You can see that they changed the color of the 39. It's a little more yellow than orange now. And then here's where you could really see the difference, where they implemented the shade of green that is very much so accurate to the movie. And you can see how much that stands out on top of the blue, whereas before, it all just kind of blended together. So I have to applaud Mattel for that. I mean, they just made it more accurate. This is probably the biggest decal difference we'll see today. I'm not over-exaggerating, guys. Like with Rusty Cornfuel, there's a lot different there, but, you know, it's teeth, expression, number, color. Here, decals. And not often is Thailand going to really rework the composition of the decals. The quality of the decals, yeah, it's blurrier. But here, they really did make a lot of changes, and it is kind of fun to see. Like, again, the stripe behind the fusing text there is green. Before, it was like a sky blue. This green is more accurate, like I said, to the movie, so this makes it probably one of the better Thailand variants. I love when the Piston Cup racers get 5 window bars in the back. Like, it's just so excessive, but I love it. You know, with Dirkson, who's the same model, he only got 2. Trunk fresh, cheaping out. Guys, we're not cheaping out because I am not excluding Chick King or McQueen in this video. They're just being treated like any other Piston Cup racer. Now, I think a lot of us agree that the expression for Thailand King is better. Again, the eyes are raised up. This time, they're spread apart a little bit more. I feel that the closer together ones wasn't horrible, but we had gotten it for so long, so much, for almost 15 years or whatever it was, that we needed a little bit of a change here. You do get the teeth painted ever so slightly. If they can paint that very thin stroke of teeth for the King here, they can paint the other ones as well. The only problem with this one is that the eye plate is so visible. You could really tell that that is a plastic piece in there. The blues don't quite match. But probably the worst part about Thailand King is the wheels that have gone from a nice, unique silver to a kind of clunky, grainy gray. A muddled gray, gunmetal gray. Not even, though. I don't even know if I would call it. It's more of like a smoky gray. The inconsistency of the smoke representing the graininess in the inkjet paint. Another thing with Thailand that I haven't really talked about yet is that all the windows are opaque, which means you can't see through them. They're just, you know, that foggy gray. Before, a lot of them were transparent. And usually you would think that means you could see through it, but you're like, Mr. Docketer, I can't see anything inside. Well, yes, you can. You're just looking at a dark interior piece. And sometimes you actually can if you shine the light directly into it. These opaque ones, you can't see jack squat. The window bars on King here got changed for the worse, similarly to the wheels, silver to a grainy gray. Same thing with the bumper here. That being said, not the worst one in the world, and they have released him a lot. Here's another relatively recent one. This was a 2023 release in the summer, along with Misti Motorkrass. That came out in the same case, along with Wes Flanapis and Adam Rodriguez. That was a really good case, and see, that is why 2024 is a top 7 mainline of all time, guys. You'll see. You'll see. Especially when 2026 comes around. You'll see what I mean by that. Anyways, what we're looking at here with Johnny Blamer for 4-wheel drive happens to be one of the biggest expression changes. Where, yeah, I mean, do I have to explain it anymore? The expression is very different in the eyelid department. And yeah, I'm not sure if this one's an improvement. This might be one of the few exceptions, like Aiken Axler, where the expression got worse. I'm not a big fan of the 4-wheel drive decal on the hood. It's like it lost the border, the black trim around the font, around the text. And so now you just can't read this at all. Dirt decals, just like off-road. Like, it's really bad for urban SUVs, just like off-road. You just can't really read that on the Thailand version. It's pretty disappointing, honestly. This was one of my favorite Piston Cup racers back in the day, and as time goes on, I always thought that's probably just because he was one of the last, and we desire what we can't have. Distance makes the heart grow fonder. So as we were coming into the home stretch in 2010, all I wanted was gaskets, taco mint, and four-wheel drive. They were the last three Piston Cup racers to be released. You can also see on the back here there is way more white on the Thailand version. They removed or downplayed the sky. Like, there's just no sky here on the back of the Thailand version. Just strange. Again, a rare instance of them changing the decals. But yeah, all I wanted was those three. They made a 3-pack with Johnny Sage, who's gaskets, and Lightning McQueen, Kmart exclusive with rubber tires. It's really cool, underrated. And Greg Candyman came out at the same time as a single. It was really awesome. Like, I absolutely adored when they did that. And I think that only Greg Candyman has remained one of my real top favorite Piston Cup racers. Sage definitely is not. Johnny's probably still up there a little bit. But cars like Fiber Fuel have elevated themselves over, and they've stood the test of time. Fiber Fuel and Retread for me. Oh, hey, Fiber Fuel. Brush Kerber, speak of the devil. One of the more recent, not really, I guess. He's been out since 2019, and then got a re-release a couple, was it just last year or 2 years ago? Either way, guys, see, when they do Red Riders every single year for like 5 years in a row, it all blurs together, and so it makes it hard to remember. Here you could tell that the expression is a little different. They spaced out the eyes a little more and heightened them, brought them closer to the eyelids, added the black outline around the eyelid, and makes it actually look quite different. He's also more yellow than he was orange. You could tell the massive difference between the hood that's yellow and the orange rest of them. Here, it's almost the exact same color. So that's interesting. I think I myself like some of the sponsors that were removed or just not shown in Cars 3. So yeah, Retread, Fiber Fuel, Shifty Drug, not really. Sidewall Shine, yeah. I miss those guys. I feel like they got shafted. They should have had some sort of representation in Cars 3. By the way, I always thought this was 9-M or something when I reviewed Fiber Fuel way back, like in the mid-2010s. And someone finally told me I'm running regular. I can't believe I didn't realize that. But it is just kind of weirdly spaced, I would say. Like I guess it's a cursive I, and I should have known that. But whatever. You guys know what I'm saying. All right. Moving right along here to Billy Oilchanger, another one like Chuck Armstrong that you have a very good chance of finding at your local store. If you're in the U.S. or probably even other places. He's a lighter shade of orange. You have the eyeliner. The eyes are blue now instead of brown. This was one of the last Piston Cup racers from Thailand I needed to review. I reviewed it. I took the 2025 one actually unboxed. I was very excited. It's one of the first cars I found. Actually, it was like the first 2025 car I found at Meyer. It was like November of last year. Brought it back, reviewed it. Really, really fun. You know, honestly, guys, I'm sorry. I shouldn't be talking about this in such a triumphant feat of a video. Like, Mattel finally did it. They released every single car from Thailand just before they go back to China. But would it have really mattered anyways? Because, again, they're making the cars the exact same as they did when they're in Thailand. It's going to take a while for people to realize that. It's going to take some unboxings and really stressing it to people. It really kind of sucks, honestly. It's going to confuse people. They're going to be like, wait, we're China again? And they're going to be like, yes, let me get this Chris Roman from China. And they're going to be like, why does it still look like crap? Yeah, okay. Anyways, James Cleanair here, another one they haven't done. I think they actually did do him just a couple years ago, but 2020 was his first release. Great expression here. Eyes brought closer together, raised up, really good. Like, this is phenomenal. This is great work from Mattel. No black outline, or at least very faint here. And that is the difference that we're all going to remember James from here. The green's a little darker, I would say. It's not as bright. Thinner window bars there. But that is pretty much it for him. Like, I remember when I reviewed this guy in 2020. It was pretty cool. Like, I was very excited about the expression change. And there's another 2020 Piston Cup racer you can see there in the background that endured a similar change for good. Now, here's one of the worst, guys. I think a lot of us over the last couple of years have all co-aligned that Lee Revkins for Transberry Juice here is one of the worst, because he used to have this really nice, deep, kind of purple color that was accurate to the movie. For whatever reason, they turned that up to this cotton candy, light purple, and it's not accurate. The expression's not very good. They did paint the teeth, though. That's a good thing, right? That's a plus. Instead of a nice bright yellow spoiler, they're like, let's give you a snot-colored mustard, Dijon mustard spoiler. And yeah, that's Lee Revkins for you. He's been released a couple times from Thailand. Yeah, it sucks. I like Transberry Juice. I love the bubble aesthetic he's got going on. I just don't know how they screwed up the spoiler so bad. Like, look at that. Ooh. Oh, and by the way, guys, this is one of the Motor Speedway of the South cars I have that is unfortunately infected with a zinc pest, which means he is coming apart in my very hands. You can see the cracks there in the paint. And also he's expanding. He's going to fly away on me. You can tell that the body is dilating off of the sides there. Very unfortunate, but it is what it is. Not much I could do to stop it. I keep these sealed in bubble wrap. And yeah, it was a pain in the butt actually to take them all out of that bubble wrap for this video, but it had to be done. But yeah, no, I mean, it's just like, it's not like I have them baking in the sun and light all day long. No, it's just, yeah, there's just nothing I can really do about it. Here we have Winford, Bradford, Rutherford, one of the more popular Piston Cup racers just because of his longevity. He's been released several times in different formats from Thailand now. And yeah, not a ton here. He does have the black eyeliner there, which makes his expression look a little bit different, and I would say a little bit better, a little bit livelier. You can see the PM leathers of the logo there is a brighter, like neon yellow instead of almost like a dark orange or dark yellow. You still have the yellow trim around the blue wheels. Don't know how this one, like a lot of Piston Cup racers have a trim around the wheels. Winford is like one of the very few that they executed on properly. I believe Manny Flywheel is another example of that, but I think, yeah, Hall and Gas, Rusty Cornfuel also have that trim, and I know there's some other ones out there I'm missing. I guess Winford, we just went out of numerical order, guys. I apologize. Something went wrong. I can't count, but yeah, we have diverged quickly. We'll go right back to it, but yeah, we went out of numerical order there. Must have been an error on my part. I also love the two-tone window bars. You don't see that often at all. But yeah, Winford, Bradford, Rutherford, another one that got released this year. It has not been hard to find. Ruby Easy Oaks got a release last year in the same case as Chris Freitman and Tony Feltman. And Boost with Flames. That was a pretty cool case. Again, in retrospect, tearing up. I'm definitely not tearing up at the thought of that case would be the best case out of any of them in 2026. I shouldn't be talking about that. Okay. You can tell the expression's different here. Again, the eyes are bigger, a little more spread apart maybe. Teeth is painted. Teeth are painted. It's strange. See, like I said, there's no rhyme or reason. His mustache, the grill there, it's like compressed. It's taller, it's thicker, but it's shorter. Don't know why they did that. A little different shade of blue going on, especially in the logo there. A warm start to a cold morning. It's going to be a cold start to a cold 2026. Stop it, Mr. Dockett. We'll get to that in another video, guys. Today we're celebrating. Here we have Claude Scruggs, another OG released way back in 2006. Might be the best Thailand expression on any Piston Cup racer not name flipped over. I really think Claude Scruggs, I mean, the expression change here is incredible. Adding the black outliner on the top there, like, burrows his eyes, making him look really dialed in. Like, the eyes are smaller. God, I love it. James was great. Cleanair, Vitaline. This one, probably better in my book. He's also not as much of like a neon yellow anymore. More of just a balanced, basic yellow. So I would put Claude up there as one of the better Thailand Piston Cup variants. He also received a release this year. Yeah, they sure did a lot of Piston Cup racers this year. And none of them are really selling. Except for Eugene Carbureski, who's not even really out broadly yet. Adult drip pans, watch your wheels. So cool. So cool, guys. I love Claude. Brings back a lot of good memories seeing him 2006 all the way up till present day. Manny Flywheel. Yes, you have the two-tone wheels, the excessive amount of window bars. You have black eyeliner, blue eyes still. The expression really did not change all that much on this guy. This is another one for me that is infected with the zinc pest. He's really about ready to take off. The sides have dilated quite a bit. The main difference, I would say, Thailand to China here is the shade of purple, softer, not as like that purple passion, deep purple. This is a little bit more lavender based. Also, you can see this green stripe just boop, kind of fades and fizzles out there. Here it turns into a plum color. I don't know why they did not do that on the Thailand version. They also made the N2O Cola logo smaller there in the back. I feel like they made it smaller in multiple spots. Not just the text, but also the bubble splash. But again, I do love the 5 window bars. I love the gray and white wheels. That's a cool combo. You wouldn't think that for N2O Cola to have gray wheels, but yeah, it really works for him actually. I'm a big fan. Moving on, number 70 is Gasprin. Floyd Mulvihill. The Piston Cup racer that probably is peg warming the most right now across the world, especially at Target stores. One of my friends said that he found 24 of them at one store. That's a whole case. That's crazy. That is absurd. They just need to go and burn those out back. Just donate them. Donate them. No burning. We're not that angry about it. We're pretty angry about it, but you guys know what I'm saying. The expression on Floyd's really good. It's similar to James Cleanair. Not quite as good, though. Not quite as good as Claude, in my opinion. His grill also got a little shorter and chubbier. It's now grayed. Understandable. He's gotten older, and it's 20 years now. Not 2006, 2025. He's got a little gray in his beard and his mustache in particular. Or Thailand just doesn't know how to make something one solid shade of black. The yellow is also a little dirtier. Not as banana-esque. Hood ache relief. Gasprin. Could take a Gasprin right now when I'm tearing through what probably is going to end up being, holy cow, like a 50-minute video. Man, look how much blurrier that decal is. I'm going to need something after this video. Have you guys ever heard of a car bliss? It's like almost carified. Like I always think of cars when I hear it, but it's more focused on carb, not car. Anyways, Sidewall Shine, one of the last ones I needed to review. I actually went all the way back to 2020 to grab one of these guys because they have not released them since then. And it's very surprising, like Dirkson D'Agostino, as a lot of these have gotten multiple releases within 4 years, some even more than that. Then you have Dirkson, you have Sidewall Shine here that have not. They have definitely gotten the short end of the stick, outside of the ones that received their first release over just the last 2.5 years. You have the black eyeliner, which makes his expression look a little bit different, but this model is one where the expressions did not change all that much. Expression changed the most on the leakless model. noticing how many Piston Cup racers just have like black or gray wheels. Kind of crazy. Isn't that an iconic shot from the first Cars movie, seeing the back of this guy with the camera? And then it's me and Tia screaming. Love it, guys. All right. Aforementioned Misti Motorkrass came out with Johnny Blamer a couple years ago. Again, with this model, the expression gets better. It always does. Except if you're like Taco Min. We'll talk about him in a little bit here. But yeah, eyes smaller, black eyeliner, it looks good. Misti Motorkrass being the only female racer makes me a little questionable why she ever had a mustache or grill. Like, we know that's meant to be a mustache, right? But there are some that don't have it. Like, we just looked at James Cleanair. He just doesn't have a grill. He doesn't have the quote-unquote mustache. And there are some other examples of that, like Ralph Carlo and Clutch Aid. But I feel like Misti Motorkrass, out of any of these racers, would have been a perfect one to exclude the grill from. So not really sure why, unless it was a decision after the fact to make her female. I'm not sure. It would have been pretty easy, though, to just shave off the mustache. But yeah, outside of that, not a whole lot changed with Misti here. Carburetor decongestant, blurrier decals, maybe a lighter shade of blue. Very nice. This one was very coveted, as the release before her 2023 release was all the way back in 2017. In 2017, who was her partner in crime? Well, it was none other than her mate, numerically, going deeper into the numbers, whatever. Crusty Rotor here for Vinyl Tupe. Yeah, they were released in the same case. I think it was like case B. I think it was case B. Case B? Or, yeah, I think it was B. Way back in 2017 before Cars 3 ramped up. Again, expression, it's better. Eyes are smaller. Black eyeliner. Also, a little bit of a darker shade of pink. Not as lavender. You get a little bit more on the purple side here. I like that. You guys tell me if you think it's more accurate or not with this one. I can't tell. The spray from the can here, the Tupe can's also a darker purple on the original. It's more of a kind of pinkish light purple here on the Thailand version. Yeah, you can see, especially with the text logo in front, how different it is. I love Vinyl Tupe for the fact that you get kind of two cars for the price of one. Like, look at this cute little cartoon guy. Someone needs to make a custom of this. Just such a cool, I mean, it's so blurry on the Thailand version. You can't even appreciate it, but it's really nice that Disney and Pixar added that, because that's not really something you get on a lot of these Piston Cup racers. She'll never notice, and again, you can see the difference in color of the spray. Who next, you ask? Well, it is one of my favorites, but back in the day, he certainly wasn't one of my favorites. Is it because I came into possession of his canceled trailer almost 10 years ago now? Maybe, but I also just really like the combo of lavender and red. Hauling gas for Retread. He also is non-Cars 3. Neither is his company, Retread. So he has a soft spot in my heart. I really like him as this Nitroade model. I'm not a big fan of a lot of the Nitroade model variants, but this one I like. Let's get into it here. He also got a metallic release in 2020 in the Scavenger Hunt line, where they actually did change his expression quite a bit. But yeah, I like that they darken these purple stripes on the hood there, make them stand out a little bit more. The logo still looks nice. Tire deodorant roll on. The eyes look good. The black eyeliner, I think, makes the expression pop out a little bit more lifelike, a little bit more animated, as I say here. Again, just making those stripes darker makes the world of difference for me. And I know I'm a little biased for Retread at this point. The only problem is, yeah, this decal is pretty bad. It's just like melting. No bueno on that. But we'll look the other way. The placement of this decal is also a little wonky. It's a little close to the window there. I don't know why they elevated it. All right. Moving on to one that was one of my favorites back in the day, as we discussed, Sage Vanderspin for gaskets. I always wanted to call her a she because Sage, but it's a he. Gotten quite a few releases from Thailand, originally in 2020, mislabeled as Rex Revler, and also, it wasn't mislabeled, it was just the card art. Or was it mislabeled as well, guys? Help me out. I should know this, but in 2020, Blue Desert, the art was of Rex Revler, a Cars 3 Gaskets veteran. The name tag might have also said Rex Revler, but the diecast was Sage Vanderspin. They corrected it that year. Very rare. We've talked about it. I actually reached out to Mattel, told them to correct it. They did, but they only made like 3 and got a release in the accessory 2-pack line over the last couple of years. So Sage has been out and about. I think this is one of the better expressions, or one of the most changed for this model. Thighs got smaller. You lost the bottom part of the eyelid, which has always been a component on this model. Like you can see here, with Nitro, you have the bottom eyelid. Thailand, it's still there for sure. It's very much so there on all of them. For Sage, it's gone. And so that's actually really cool. I like that a lot. You have a darker blue, the racetrack treat. So it's some coloring differences for sure here. I think my problem with gaskets, Rex Revler is just so similar. Like, it's almost the exact same. By the way, they boldened the font there of racetrack treat. Like, it's insane that they did not change the design for Rex Revler more. Like, you look at Crusty Rotor and Rev Rotages for Vinyl Toupe, completely different, unrecognizable. With gaskets, they're almost the exact same. It's like him, Nitro, Mood Springs, all 3 of those very similar, but for whatever reason, Rex just, one of my least favorite Cars 3 veterans. Anyways, here we have Darren Leadfoot for Shiny Wax. Another one they haven't done in quite some time. I'd love to see Darren on a Red Riders packaging. I mean, if that's what we're hoping for. The bar, yeah, we all know the bar is pretty low at this point, but hey, gotta work with what we got. Darker green, kind of like a gradient. Definitely not as lime green anymore. The expression's okay. But yeah, I see you kind of lost this part here that was just untouched. It's all kind of one now. Like, you don't have this partition. The 82 there is a little more white. The green patch behind it's slightly different. Black wheels again. You can see here the banner with the Shiny Wax logo in it. It's kind of off on its own. But here, the same cut, like it bleeds backwards there. Like it offsets. I don't know. Like, it's very strange. Here, just kind of a banner that lays over the lime green. So I guess a couple decal changes there, but definitely not one that we find ourselves talking about too much. Here's one that we find ourselves finding too much, as he's been released one of the most out of any Thailand Piston Cup racer. Dave Alternators, formerly known as Davey Apex. I don't want to spend much time on this guy. I really don't care too much for him, unfortunately. Like, red's my favorite color, and I have a super fond memory of my mom gifting this guy to me way back in the day. He was originally released in a 4-pack as the exclusive. They didn't label him, though, as such. I think it was just McQueen, King, Chick, and Dave. Yeah, just there's not a whole lot to say about this variant. Just very benign. You got the black eyeliner, and that's about it. You got gray wheels. They look fine. There's just too much of this guy in today's current environment, because you got the accessory 2-pack release. He's got multiple Red Riders releases, which is excessive. Excessive. No Piston Cup racer should be getting multiple Red Riders releases, but there's going to be a lot of that in 2026, so we should all buckle in. Chick Hicks here. Just reviewed this guy. I remember, he got his Thailand review in the 2-pack with Bruiser Bukowski several years ago. Yeah, the eye plate here, I think, actually makes him look a little bit better. The crack there, kind of allows the eyes to stand on its own and not blur and bleed into the decals here. Like this, it almost looks like hair, and it's just pressed down on his head. Here, it just, yeah, it's squared off a little bit more. I like that. Teeth not painted. Whatever. Obviously, with Chick, the decals is a big deal. And so when Thailand, there's just so much blurrier. And so that really works against Chick here. Other than that, he's not so bad. But yeah, I think the eyes look a lot better. A little bit smaller, a little bit tighter. And yeah, the eye plate, it just really helps him here. Like you could see some of the decals bleeding down onto his eyebrow. Just not a great look in my opinion. Number 90 bumper save here. Another one, I think it's gotten 2 releases from Thailand. 2019/2020 Blue Desert. And then again in 2024 and 4. I think it was 4. Case D, Ghost Tractor, Cave Mater. I think so. Really working hard. This, I would say, I would proclaim that this is the biggest expression change on this model, surpassing Sage Vanderspin, just because they centered the eyes. All of the time, the eyes are always looking off to his left, our right. Here, they centered them, kind of up-kicked the eyelid there on the bottom. You can see how it kind of curls up now around this way. Before it was just straight over. And I think it looks pretty good. Again, you have the white in the front, so the teeth are correct. Maybe Mattel just got lucky with this one, or who knows. But either way, it worked out for them. And yeah, making him one of the better Thailand variant Piston Cup racers. TVPCs. Let's just call them that, guys. TVPCs. Thailand variant Piston Cup racers. Because it's a mouthful. It is a mouthful and a half. All right, back row. Final row, guys. Murray clutch burn for Sputter Stop here. One of the first Red Riders we ever got. And yeah, quite a big difference here. The expression goes from orange eyes to blue eyes. Eyes are a little bit more centered and they're a little bit more level. They don't dip down as much. And the green went from kind of aqua teal to a bright turquoise. I don't mind that. Kind of indifferent. Doesn't really bother me. The orange is also brighter. I do like that more, I will say that. You could definitely see that with the spoilers there, how much brighter the orange is. But yeah, there's another like quote-unquote crevice where they just aren't able to fully paint it. So it looks just so grainy like sandpaper there. What is this guy's slogan? You're catching cold in my drift. Love it. Love the slogans. Next gens don't really do slogans. Wonder why. Just trying to be so minimalistic. Like modernity has become synonymous with minimalism. Anyways, here's Ernie Gearson, the third to last Piston Cup racer to be released from Thailand. Came out in the second case of 2025, case P, and has blown up the pegs at Target, especially. Again, one like Floyd Mulvihill, where you could go into a store and find a full peg, maybe 2 full pegs straight of Ernie Gearson. Guys, it's real, it's happening, it's not good, considering he was the man when this year started. It's like, oh my God, new Thailand variant. The expression's really cool. Again, you get the legless treatment on lights. Again, it's not quite as cool as this, guys. They still have not been able to replicate that. But eyes are smaller, more leveled. I like it. It's strange, though, that like Murray Clutchburn just did not get that treatment. I'm not sure if he was too early, along with Greg Candyman. But yeah, him, Greg, they didn't get that treatment. Whereas almost every other racer in that model did. It's just a little strange. Something worth noting. He's also a lighter blue here. But yeah, I mean, this guy would have been fine had they not included him in another case, and then another case, and then another case. And oh, did I mention that in several of those cases, there are 2 of him. So it's like, okay, cool. The first one sold, and the second one sold. And yeah, even like the third one sold, but oh, we got in a new case. Oh, there's 2 more of him. And then, yeah, That's the problem, guys. Like, if you tracked it, I bet you would look at like your Pega target and be like, yeah, there are Ernie Gearsons here from Case P, and I'm just going to make some stuff up. Case R, I do think he was in Case R, Case V. Like, he was just in so many cases. It's kind of embarrassing. And so Eugene and Ryan, even though Ryan is in 2 cases, have the benefit of Mattel not spamming them, not having the ability to, because they're toward the end of the year, and they won't be carried over to next year. Some Race and Rescue ones will, though. Here we have Lightning McQueen. I say that as if he's just some normal guy. Now, we have to remember that this is the Motorspeed of the South version, so he doesn't have the Rusty's logo on the spoiler, but most Lightning McQueens released after like 2009 and all the way up, until present day, have the Rusty's spoiler decal there. So that's not something Thailand should be taking credit for. They should be taking credit for making his tongue black. That's something that they did, yeah. Making the Rusty's logo a little lighter. Again, not a big deal, but it's obviously blurrier. I do like the eyes, though. Like, I really have no issue with that. I always found that the glossy paint on McQueen stands out a lot. The wheels aren't great, but I wouldn't say they were even that good before. They're like a dark maroon. Like, not bright red at all. Here, they're a little bit brighter, but you could see the problem we've been talking about. This has been a fun video too, guys. I hope you've enjoyed it. I know it's a long one, but some of these videos of this nature, as you may know, tend to be some of my more successful ones, like the Damaged Piston Cup Racers Part 1 from 2018, I think I put it on my channel. My most popular video ever, and it's just, me going through and kind of comparing a bunch of Piston Cup Racers. That's just kind of what people love to see. Just put this on in the background even, like a podcast, because I'm really articulating everything verbally. So here's Greg Candyman, one of the first Thailand variant Piston Cup racers in this model. And so again, maybe that's why his expression really didn't change much at all. Like with Murray, you could say, well, the eyes are still large, but they leveled them out. Here, they didn't do much. They're still burrowed downward. He's got a little bit of a darker brown. And so kind of like this could have been a banger variant. Really could have been. Even when they re-released him in 2023. Yep, it was 2023. Yep. Okay, good. I think it was case L of 2023. He's very rare in his Red Riders packaging. But yeah, they could have updated him and they did not. He was the exact same as he was in 2019. Or was it 2018? Guys, it's so hard when the packagings were the same. If the packaging was different in every year, I would remember 100%. But 2018 and 2019 were the same until 2019 turned the Blue Desert. And obviously, from 2022 to present day, it's all Red Riders, right? So it's a complete quagmire. It's very difficult to delineate in my brain. I'm sure you guys is too. Like, we could all say, yeah, he's gotten a Red Riders release, but yeah, was it 2022, 3, 4, 5, 6? Who knows? 2027 probably. Ralph Carlo here. All right, so another fun one. No grill, no mustache, but lots of changes here. The headlights moved down because they wanted to make the little Torquey Pistons logo about twice as big. You can see that my Ralph Carlo is having the zinc pez. You can see the cracks there, but yeah, that doesn't change the fact that little piston guy right there, yeah, look at him smiling, smirking. He's massive now. What the hell happened? Kind of like Rusty Cornfuel, where they're like, make the 4 bigger. Here it's like, make the logo bigger. All right, fine. The expression, also bigger. The eyes are bigger. Want to know what else is bigger? The number here again on the roof. Now, unfortunately, Ralph Carlo is one of my least favorite Piston Cup racers. Same thing with Clutch 8, who we'll get to here momentarily. Just not a big fan of their paint schemes. I feel bad. Like, I don't know. I can't really say anything bad to him. It's not like the Piston guy offends me. I actually really like the Piston mascot here. I think that's the only thing that's really keeping him from being like the worst Piston Cup racer of all time. I like the Cars 3 Ralph, though, a lot more. I like the light blue that they introduced on him, but that's not what this video is about. Second to last is my least favorite, and that is Kevin Shiftwright for Clutch Aid here. Another 2023 Piston Cup racer. Came out with Kevin Racingtire. The Kevin Battle of 2023. The War of the Kevins. The 2023 War. And yeah, he got a darker shade of blue. The expression barely moved an inch. The shade of green got a little softer for the Clutch Aid logo there. They didn't enlarge anything on this guy. I do like the white wheels on him, though. The Band-Aids are kind of cute. You can see here, the Band-Aid has like a little blue tail. I think that's supposed to represent like a scratch. And you could actually see here on this version, you could see the tail on the bottom more because it's over the white. The tail is present on the top, but it's just so hard to see. It's a little bit easier to see here on the Thailand version. And so it's like, oh, cool. Now I know for sure what Dino Drafsky's hood represents. I remember it took me a while to figure out that's a scratch. The Band-Aid's covering it. That's what it's meant to be. The inspiration is right here. This turned into Dino Drafsky's main emblem. Kind of cool. Some Clutch Aid lore for you. Epic Green Thunder would appreciate it. Guys, we're almost done here. This is crazy. I hope I got everybody. It would be pretty embarrassing if I missed somebody. Todd Marcus for No Stall. I'll just tell you, he's coming back in 2026 unless it turns out to be the Cars 3 version, but I'd still technically be right because that is Todd Marcus. This guy's gotten a couple releases, most recently in 2023. I like Todd a lot. In fact, I found one the other day at a store. At Target, too. It wasn't like a O'Reilly's Auto Parts where you would expect to find something old. No, it was Target. And yeah, kind of alarming. But anyways, you tell that the red got a little softer, not as bright and vibrant. The eyes, quite a bit different on this guy, actually, and I like that. Instead of kind of a floating, misaligned mustache there, got a little fatter and just above his mouth. Painted the teeth on this one. Yeah, this is one of your better Thailand Piston Cup racers, your better TV PCs. Checkered stripe there. No stall decal. Black wheels. Guys, that is everything. That is everybody. I can't believe it. I cannot believe, guys. Now it's your job to tell me who is your favorite Thailand Piston Cup racer and who is your favorite Chinese Piston Cup racer. Maybe, that's a bad question. I feel like the answer could be the same. Like my favorite I feel like my favorite Thailand Piston Cup racer, not to drag this video out anymore, but I think it is probably Claude Scruggs for, the reasons we discussed. The expression is just incredible. Whereas my favorite Chinese one is probably Greg Candyman, but if it was the other way around, like if all these Thailand racers came out first, my favorites might be Greg Candyman, and then if Chinese came out after that, maybe it would be Transberry Juice. Guys, think about that. That's a very interesting thought. If Thailand made everything first, what would your favorite be? And then if China came around and made everything, what would your favorite be? For me, it literally could be Greg Candyman and then Transberry Juice because of how much better Lee Revkins got if you reverse it. Think about it that way, guys. I'm serious. Guys, thank you so much for watching this almost hour-long video. It means the world to me. I will see you soon for another video. Bye now.